Tonight, Broken Hill's mayor manages to avoid a no-confidence motion put forward by a fellow councillor. And hanging up the gloves, a local boxing legend calls it a day.
This is Southern Cross News with Fraser Goldsworthy.
Good evening. Broken Hill's mayor has won the support of the city's councillors despite a heated meeting where her leadership was called into question. The no-confidence motion against Daria Turley was voted down, but it wasn't without fierce debate from local leaders.
It's not uncommon for council meetings to become heated, but last night's had an extra element of fire.
So allow me to have my say in there. You can rule. Well, I was.
The main talking point on the agenda was a no-confidence motion against Mayor Daria Turley. The motion was put forward by Councillor Ron Page, who said many locals felt council was lacking community engagement and input. It was a motion that gained some support from his fellow elected members.
Only 30% of the people in Broken Hill believe that council is transparent. Say that again, 30%. That means 70% of the people in Broken Hill who were surveyed believe that our council is not transparent. This motion was put forward with very good intent about the Broken Hill community having faith in their councillors and working hard for the future. That's what this is about.
Councillor Page put the motion down to the Mayor's failure to introduce standing committees that would help in the Chamber's decision-making processes. After 15 minutes of animated discussion, the motion was voted down. The Mayor now ready to move on.
We need not to be distracted by these sort of vexatious allegations of no confidence in the Mayor. Focus on the big picture. Put your head down and work for the city of Broken Hill.
The Mayor says she hasn't received negative response when it comes to council's community engagement.
Well, that's not the message I'm getting from the community. In fact, we have done more community engagement around the library than ever's been done before. There is a lot going on, so I think it really is, trying to have a swing at council.
A review into standing committees will be tabled at next month's meeting. Patrick Royenke, Southern Cross News.
A sold-out crowd has packed Port Pirie's Northern Festival Centre for this year's York and Mid-North Regional Forum. Headlining the day's program was leading social commentator Bernard Salz, who spoke of his optimism for growth in regional South Australia.
Famously known for his analogy between unaffordable house prices and smashed avocados, it seems the running joke hasn't affected Bernard Salz's choice at the breakfast table.
I had smashed avocado. Could not do that. $17.
The business expert was asked to speak about the challenges facing regional Australia. And the theme of disruption and resilience wasn't wasted with Mr. Salt. He says the biggest disruption he sees in this area is demographic.
So one farmer buys out the neighbour then moves to the nearest big city, or in fact to the coast.
The efficiency of large-scale machinery in agriculture means less workers are needed out in the fields. He doesn't want this to discourage people though.
We're actually producing more agricultural output than ever before with less physical labour in the regions.
He believes regional centres can build on this and become a world leader in agribusiness.
We should be feeding the world, and we can do it from right here on the York Peninsula and in the Mid-North.
The forum featured a jam-packed program, giving the ticket holders the chance to hear from business leaders around South Australia. And Salt has some key advice for the communities of the Upper Spencer Gulf.
A galvanised, united, confident, aspirational community is unbreakable.
Garth Burley, Southern Cross News.
An Australian flag used at Broken Hill's Memorial Oval on Anzac Day has been stolen. Local RSL members went to pick it up yesterday morning only to find it was gone. It was last seen Wednesday afternoon. The RSL believes it was taken overnight. The Memorial Oval Management Committee has kindly offered to replace the flag if it's not found. Anyone with information is urged to contact police. Meantime, a man will front court after police uncovered weapons, illicit drugs and drug paraphernalia in his car in Broken Hill. The 27-year-old was found asleep in his Toyota Land Cruiser while parked in a local service station at 5 o'clock yesterday morning. Officers say they also uncovered a number of defects with his vehicle. There's a new children's author in our region, but Port Lincoln locals might know him as someone else. Jared Elson is more commonly known as one of the town's dentists, but thought he'd try his luck at writing a children's book, only to find out it took years of collaboration to come together.
A local dentist becomes an unlikely author. It's called Cheetah. It's something I've been working on for 2 years, or probably a bit longer actually. Independently published, and yeah, I'm very excited for it to be released.
Jared was on a mission to prove it was easy to write a children's story. He soon learned that wasn't the case.
It actually was really challenging, and that's where I actually fell in love with the concept of writing a rhyming children's story that to make something seem very effortless was actually took a lot of effort.
But the challenge didn't stop at the writing.
With the illustration and design side of things, it took a long time because there's a lot that goes into it. Mine's 40 pages. And every single page had to be designed from scratch. I had a Melbourne-based designer help me with the working with the illustrator and myself. So it was a three-way process, and everyone lived in different places. The illustrator's from Russia.
So what's it all about?
The main character is Cheetah, who's a cheetah, and he plays games with all the other animals in the jungle, but naturally he cheats all the time and he always wins. So the other animals, they get a little bit fed up and they decide they want to figure out how he's cheating all the time.
And as to whether another book is on the way.
Hopefully once this one is really successful, we'll move on to the next one. I've got a few ideas in mind, maybe a spin-off from Cheetah the Cheetah, maybe something about my dog.
Casey Treloar, Southern Cross News.
A collection of remote control cars has been stolen in Whyalla Stewart. Between the night of Tuesday and Wednesday this week, a shed in Wainwright Street was broken into. The offender made off with a remote control car collection along with various parts for the cars. Police are continuing their investigation and anyone with information is asked to come forward. Coming up, why organisers of this year's Pitchy Ritchie Marathon are moving the event. Details next. Broken Hill doctors are urging residents to get their flu shots as winter approaches. 2017 was the largest flu season in Australia since the 2009 pandemic. GPs say it's now even more important to receive a jab, especially the elderly, children and pregnant women. Free vaccinations are available to eligible members of the public under the National Immunisation Program. The annual Pitchy Ritchie Marathon in Port Augusta is set for a shake-up this year. Organisers of the yearly event are changing the path, citing safety concerns and also to reduce traffic blocks.
After 38 years, the finish line of the Pitchy Ritchie Marathon will now have a new home.
There's a new route for the marathon this year and it's going to Wilmington.
The change comes amid increasing safety concerns for those involved.
The issue would be the 60 kilometres driving past competitors on the road. That's a major concern.
Not just the competitors, but also the volunteers along the way. Those people that man the water stops, those people that are manning start points.
A report ordered by organisers found that with no barrier between the competitors and traffic, the speed of passing vehicles must be slowed down to 25.
The issue going all the way up to Corn at 25 kilometres is a little bit overkill.
I'm sure they're going to be disappointed that we've had to move, but it's all around a safety analysis that we did.
They're looking to take the route through Stirling, then up towards Wilmington and Melrose, giving these communities the potential to share in the tourism dollar.
That's bringing fresh money into the community, so it's up to the community then to take advantage of that.
Organisers are hopeful a new change will help push the event into bigger and better things.
Great to see the new route. It'll be a great new challenge for the competitors.
Garth Burley, Southern Cross News.
Local junior sporting superstars are being encouraged to access support through a federal government grant program. Rowan Ramsey says the funds can help both athletes and coaches kick goals at the highest level.
It's no secret this region is a breeding ground for sports stars who compete at a number of state and national championships. And while the on-field competition is tough, the tyranny of distance is just as big a hurdle to overcome.
We go to Adelaide 3 times a week for training. You go, wow, gee, that's a bit of a drain on the family budget. So it's amazing, the commitment.
Locals seeking support for their efforts can now access funding. The Local Sporting Champions Grant is available to young athletes or coaches taking part in state and national championships. Worth $500, it can be used to cover the costs associated with competing in the big leagues.
If you're a swimmer or a hockey player or whatever it might be and you need to go to Perth or Sydney or even Adelaide for competition.
Mr. Ramsey says representing your state or country from this region is a massive commitment of time and money that deserves to be rewarded. He hopes this will encourage kids to stay involved in sport, train hard, and dream of becoming our next sporting legend.
Gives them the opportunity to find out just how good they are, how far they can get up the tree, and in any case is helping people participate in sport.
For further details, head to our Facebook page. John Hunt, Southern Cross News.
A sign welcoming travellers to the south side of Broken Hill is said to be moved for the new Murray River pipeline. The pipeline is set to run through the Broken Hill Welcomes You fixture on the side of Wentworth Road. The larger billboard alongside it won't be affected though. Constructors say they have spoken to council about reinstalling it in the future. Still to come tonight, footy tips plus a Port Lincoln boxing trainer calls it a day. That story next. Whyalla will soon have a new wildlife and reptile park 16 years after the last one closed down. The owners are looking for volunteers to help to get the site back up and running.
For past generations of local children, the Whyalla Fauna Park was a must-visit place. On top of being home to traditional Aussie animals, it also featured some unique creatures from around the world. Now 16 years after it closed, a passionate family is looking to bring back that glory.
We've always wanted to have start up a wildlife park, and when the opportunity arose with the Fauna Park being closed down for so long, it was just a perfect opportunity.
Some animals have already moved into their new digs. While the creatures won't be as exotic as the previous park, the owners say the focus will be on our native species.
Conduct training courses for venomous snake handling, and we also conduct educational days for school groups.
But a decade and a half of vacancy has taken its toll. Sites need repairing and in some cases need to be rebuilt, while weeds and tree growth have overtaken many of the paths and gardens. Too much for the two of them. The pair is asking for volunteers to give them a hand next month.
We're slowly getting there, and it's just a matter of progress. I mean, yeah, it's just time and growing really rapidly, and we're getting a great response and great feedback.
Details are on our Facebook page. John Hunt, Southern Cross News.
A legendary boxing trainer has decided to hang up the gloves after 50 years. Peter Williams has built a reputation in Port Lincoln as helping to rehabilitate the youth, which has led to the development of many professional champions.
The final bell sounds for a legend in the ring.
I was a young man of 16 years of age in Victoria, travelled up to Bendigo from Castlemaine, happened to jump into a boxing ring. Big bloke by the name of Ron Murray give me a smack in the nose, and I don't know, Casey, the rest is history.
He's certainly made some memories along the way.
The biggest win, I reckon, besides boxing, let's not talk about boxing, was meeting Muhammad Ali. When they introduced me to Muhammad Ali, I had a tear in my eye. He was my influence in life. He was my hero and still my hero.
Peter has worked hard over his time as a trainer, creating a positive environment for youth to hang out and train at the Williams Boxing Gym. He's now looking to hand it over to a boxer he built from the ground up.
Asked Pete for advice on just to get fit and quit smoking, and 14 months later I fought for him at 75 kilos, so it was just one of those things. He just motivated me every day to turn up. We've got a great team on board, and all we're doing is just looking to continue Pete's legacy.
There'll be a special celebration to recognise Peter's achievements for local boxing in June, and while he may have trained many state and national champions, an amateur like me might need a little more practice. Casey Trelaw, Southern Cross News.
Well, with the weekend upon us, it's time to see what our tipsters are thinking for the upcoming footy games.
Welcome to round 3 of Whyalla football. The early game at Memorial Oval tomorrow sees the undefeated North Whyalla take on the bottom of the ladder, Roona Bay. I think it's going to be one-way traffic for the Magpies, especially given their outstanding win last week, defeating the previously undefeated West team, who haven't lost in almost 2 years, and they should easily win this game on Saturday. The late game on Saturday does see West Whyalla play Rapina. Rapina will like their chances here. Their recruits are playing well, but just can't see the reigning premier drop 2 games in a row. And finally, on Sunday at Memorial Oval, it's South Whyalla versus Central Whyalla. South going okay, 1 win, 1 loss, but I think the speed and the experience of the Roosters will see them sneak across the line.
Welcome to Port Lincoln Footy Tips in the 2018 season. On Wednesday we had a fantastic game to see Waybacks beating Marble Range by 2 goals. Coming up we got Lincoln South taking on Mallee Park at Centenary Oval. Mallee Park only lost 3 games last year and I think they're going to kick off this season with a win. I'm tipping Mallee Park to win this one by 4 or 5 goals. In the next game we got Tasmans taking on Boston's at Poole Oval. These were the cellar dwellers last year but both have improved dramatically. I'm tipping Tasmans to win this one, and they should win this one semi-comfortably. I'm tipping them by 6 goals.
Broken Hill football got underway on Anzac Day, and what a wonderful occasion. First Anzac Day game in 10 years, bumper crowd, wonderful game, great spectacle. Round 1 finishes tomorrow. North and South, traditional rivals, Jubilee Oval. South have dominated the competition for the last 4 years, winning 3 premierships. The Bulldogs have recruited aggressively in the off-season, picked up some good players. Who will win? South are still a yardstick, still got 3 or 4 of the best players in the competition. I think they'll get across the line. Not a lot, 10 points at the Jube.
Stay with us. After the break, we'll have all the local weather details with Amy. And with the weekend finally upon us, what can the region expect, Amy?
It was a beautiful day, Fraser, and the fine weather will continue for the last weekend of the school holidays. I'll have all the details next. Welcome back. Temperatures were a little warmer throughout the region today, Port Augusta reaching a top of 28. Not much difference in Whyalla and Port Pirie with maximums in the high 20s. Cooler in Broken Hill with a top of 22. Checking the satellite, and a trough over the north and west will bring a few showers. Some patchy cloud in the southeast, however it is staying dry. Skies clearer elsewhere under that high pressure ridge. If you're spending the weekend on the waters, southerly winds will shift southeasterly up to 15 knots. Meanwhile, seas will reach 1 metre with the sun rising at 6:50 and sunset at 5:43. And a big thank you to Dylan Swincer, who captured this beautiful photo at South Point Beach in Port Lincoln. And if you have a weather shot you'd like to share, we'd love to see it, and you can email it to us at localnews@sca.com.au. Now taking a look at tomorrow's forecast, and all districts will experience a mostly sunny start to the weekend. 26 the top in Port Augusta. Whyalla will be a couple of degrees cooler, while Clare will also reach 22 after getting down to single digits overnight. Port Lincoln can expect temperatures in the mid-20s early next week. Similar days forecast for Cleve, reaching 27 on Tuesday. Meanwhile, Woodner will be a few degrees warmer with temperatures in the high 20s. Whyalla is also going to stay warm over the coming days with a mostly sunny 27 expected on Tuesday. Port Augusta and Kadina will experience maximums in the mid to high 20s. More sunshine for Port Pirie as temperatures rise to 28 next week. Temperatures will range in the 20s in Clare. Meanwhile, Broken Hill can expect a run of 23-degree days. So Fraser, school holidays might be ending, but the sunshine around the Spencer Gulf sure isn't.
That's great to hear. Thanks, Amy. And that's Southern Cross News this Friday. Thanks for your company. I will have updates later. Until then, though, enjoy your evening. Good night.